Okay, well, first of all, good afternoon. It's afternoon now. My wife, Dr. Shawn Leatherman, myself, Dr. Shawn. I got into healthcare about 12, 15 years ago. And the reason I got into healthcare is because I saw failures in my own family. I grew up in a single-parent household with a mother who had high blood pressure and had heart disease, who was overweight, who got on multiple medications to help her feel better. It didn't work. She went and started drinking, gained more weight, her health further deteriorated, and eventually she wound up with heart attacks. And that made a big impression on me growing up. I always wanted to make sure that whatever I did in life as I was moving forward, it was going to be helping other people. That brought me into chiropractic. So I became a chiropractic physician in 2003, started practice in 2004, and I started working on people with back pain, sports injuries, that sort of thing. And it morphed over the years, and it turned more and more and more into chronic health conditions, and that's what we see in our office now. It's not about pain, it's about how people are functioning, how they're getting through life, and then what are they dealing with on a daily basis to help them get healthier, or what are they trying to take to cover up their symptoms. And so when we got into practice, chiropractic was really easy. You know, people would come in, we would do adjustments, we would teach them some rehab, we would do some modalities. They got well. It was pretty simple. Their pain levels got better. We started doing spinal restructuring, which was harder. They continued to get better. Now, let's fast forward 10, 12, 13 years where we're at now. Everybody that comes in the office is either overweight, they're on medications, they've got chronic problems, they have multiple injuries, they have inflammatory disorders. They talk about, I'm pre-diabetic, I'm diabetic, I have metabolic syndrome, I have a heart condition, I'm on blood pressure medication. Those are the patients we deal with on a daily basis. So we decided our mission is to help people. And if we're not coming in and doing something to actually change what's going on in their lifestyle, helping them function better so they can live better outside the office, we're not fulfilling our mission. And chiropractic is an area where we focus on things that are not medication-derived or surgery-derived. You want to do conservative care first, and if that doesn't work, then refer them on to the appropriate professionals. Well, what we're seeing is our work was becoming less effective and less effective and less effective. And we decided we have got to address this on a different level. So we started doing nutrition out of our offices. We started giving lectures. I came here last year and I talked to the same group. We talked about nutrition and dietary pathways. We talked about lifestyle, fitness, things you should eat, how to shop. And what we've realized in doing these talks over and over and over is it all boils down to one thing. If you're putting fat into your body, and I don't mean eating fat, I mean eating foods that make your body inflame and deposit fat. No matter what we do, you're going to continue to get unhealthy, and you're going to deteriorate over and over and over. There's no drug that can fix it. There's no surgery that can fix it, really. They can do gastric bypass. They can go in there and shorten your stomach down, but essentially you're the same person. All you have is you have a restrictor. And so we decided we've got to do something different in the way we practice and the way we talk to people out in the community. Instead of just giving information, how do we bring something into our office, create a program that targets fat loss, not nutritional aspects, because everybody's different. And what might make you feel good doesn't make you feel good. And the needs that you have are different than the needs that you have. And so what we've done is we've morphed our office, and we've been focusing on not only chiropractic care, but how do we decrease inflammation in our patient population? How do we drive fat deposition down? How do we increase metabolic output? And we tell people, not tell people, but actually show them, this is how you can make changes and live a healthy life. Not only doing that, but also helping them along the way, holding them accountable, giving them tools so they can succeed. So today's talk about what we're going to do here is going to be completely different than what I did last year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to remove myself from the talk, and I'm going to have my wife come up and have Dr. Sarah take over. Dr. Sarah is now in charge of running our fat loss program in our office. She's also a chiropractor, also been doing nutrition for years, former fitness competitor, and we found out how hard and rigorous that is on your body and the things that really tear you down. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. So our entire purpose here today is to empower you to make better lifestyle choices, but also teach you things that you can implement, show you how we're doing things with our patients, how we're getting successes, so that you're better informed. Does that make sense? Okay, so without further ado, Dr. Sarah.
Well, good afternoon. Like you said, I'm Dr. Shawn Leatherman, the other half And I had this lovely PowerPoint presentation that my computer decided it didn't want to present this morning, so we're all going to pretend that this is a lovely, multicolored, beautiful, gorgeous PowerPoint presentation, which actually, as it works out, probably would have been a little more difficult to see anyways. So if we can all agree on that. I'm going to pass this around. Everyone wants to touch the fat. I'm going to pass that around, and then at the end of it, after everyone's had a chance to hold it, we're going to take a guess of how much that is. So like he said, I'll just jump right into it. Yes, I did a fitness competition. I've had a couple babies. I was 38 years old. A couple years before that, I was really overweight. I was really unhealthy. I was caught in that loop of toddlers and drinking coffee and drinking soda and drinking more coffee and drinking more soda. And I had another colleague who said, as a physician, you need to come from an authentic place. So if you're going to be telling people how to be healthy, then you better be healthy yourself. And it was a wake-up call. So I started working out. When I went to the gym, every time I sweat, I smelled like Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich and French fries, because all those toxins were leaving through my fat and my sweat. I could not do a push-up, could not do a sit-up. I was really, really unhealthy. So through that process, I learned how to work out, how strong I was, and push myself. And I had a trainer, and he said, you know what, you should think about doing a fitness competition. I said, no, never, ever in a million years, no. So be careful what you say no to, you never know what you're going to do. So anyways, a couple years go by, and I thought, you know what, I can do that. So I started training. I hired a coach, and I'm very thankful for her because she trained me how to do it properly. Again, if I'm going to be authentic, I need to be able to take what I was doing and bring it back to my patients. I ate right, I ate good proteins, I ate lots of greens, I ate lots of fats. I pushed myself, but I also did it in a very healthy way. And so I did this for 12 weeks, and I did get up on stage in a little itty bitty bikini in stiletto heels. And I'm going to tell you, thank you, I'm going to tell you once you've done that, not much else in life is going to scare you. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I'm really proud that I did that. And I learned a lot from that process. And from that, that was the catalyst that got me interested in this. Because through that process is where I learned how to food prep, how I learned what calories were in what foods. You know that Dove dark chocolate around a certain time of the month tastes really good. One of those is 40 calories. You eat 5 of them, which is really easy. It's 200 calories. You know, that's like 20, 30 minutes on a treadmill. So you start really thinking about your food choices and how you feel. So anybody have any guesses? How many pounds that is?
10.
15. What is it? 5. It's 5 pounds. Good job. Most people think it's a lot heavier. And so if you imagine, this is 5 pounds of fat. So one of the common complaints I hear in my office, especially women, are fatigue. Now imagine this is 5 pounds. Okay? So imagine if you had a dumbbell that you had to carry around all day. Okay? Toddler, kids, right? You're packing them around all day. You get sore and tired, right? You get fatigued. So carrying around extra weight will really wear you down. Okay. So one of the things that I want you to do for a minute is go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to envision yourself 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Okay, you're 70, 80, 90. How do you envision yourself? How vibrant do you want to be? Where are you traveling to? What are you doing with your grandkids? Okay. Does that look like a vibrant picture? Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. Now let's talk about where our current society is. 2 out of 3 adults are overweight or obese. Okay, 40% of children are overweight or obese. This is our country right now. So when we tend to see elderly now, we're not seeing that. What are we seeing? Frail bodies, wheelchairs, multiple medications. So again, what my husband said, this is our mission of how we're going to change it. Okay. So I just want to read a couple stats that some of you may or may not know about. So out of the 39 higher, what would you call it? Civilized society, that's not the right word. But anyway, more industrialized nations, out of the top 39, guess where we are ranked in healthcare?
36.
37 out of 39, okay? But yet we spend more on healthcare than all of those countries combined, okay? We We take more drugs than all countries combined. 80% of the deaths in our country and 80% of the spending on healthcare are due to chronic diseases, heart disease, cancer, diabetes. Those are the top ones. Okay, 50% of our deaths are due to cancer and heart disease. We make up 4% of the world's population. 4% of the world's population, we spend more on healthcare, and we're ranked one of the lowest. My first lovely slide. Okay, so this is metabolic syndrome. Have you heard of metabolic syndrome or syndrome X? Okay, yep. So most people are in this right now. Okay, 4 to 6 people in that range are truly in a diabetic or syndrome X, and most everybody else in America is trending towards that. Okay. So what is metabolic syndrome? Metabolic syndrome is kind of a garbage bag of what you would say of a collection of symptoms. It's not a true diagnosis, it's more a collection of symptoms. So it's people who have heart disease, lipid problems, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, cancer, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So metabolic syndrome, it's very common. It's more common than the common cold and pimples. Okay, that's how much we see it in our society now. So nearly 1 out of 6 people have it. Majority of Americans are on their way. So it's not classified as a disease. It's most accurately described as a group of risk factors. So it's a reduced quality of life and premature death. So what are the primary risk factors for it? Okay, we have, if you're overweight, you have a large waist to hip ratio. Okay, if you have more of a straighter, if you don't have that curve. High triglycerides, low HDL, otherwise known as the good cholesterol. Hypertension, which is high blood pressure, and blood sugar, high blood sugar. These are all the collections. Those are the primary risk factors. So how do they develop? An unhealthy lifestyle, obesity, insulin resistance, and hormonal imbalance. Okay, and this is where it becomes really, really important. Most of the clients I'm seeing in my office right now are women over the age of 40. So that premenopause starts, our hormones start shifting, and everything becomes really rocky from there. So this is what I call the metabolic black hole. This is your wake-up call. So like my husband mentioned, now what we're seeing is polypharmacy in our office. Okay, so it all starts with something. You go, what do we usually do when we don't feel good? We go to the doctor, and what do they want to do first?
Give you medication.
Medication.
True. And they'll check your blood work, right? So they check blood, and if they see high sugars or high lipids, high cholesterol, again, what do? They put you on medications. That's a tool they have in their toolbox. And they can be very important if you're in a crisis situation. However, because of this, so what happens, you get on, your cholesterol is too high based on the limits that they set. So you go on a cholesterol medication, cholesterol lowering medication. So, did you know that your liver produces 80% of the cholesterol in your body? Did you know that? Okay. So cholesterol is good. Has anyone ever said that? You ever heard that? Yeah. Cholesterol is good. Eat your eggs fried in some butter. I'm just going to put that out there. So eat your eggs. Cholesterol is good. Every hormone in your body and every cell membrane is made from cholesterol. So what do you think happens if you put a cholesterol lowering medication into your liver? What's going to happen to every single cell in your body, every single hormone in your body? Right. And so what happens, this is why you have to, if you're on like Lipitor or another cholesterol lowering medication, you have to have blood work done every 6 months because they're checking the health of your liver. Okay? So you take that medication, and that's going to cause some symptoms. And you're going to have some, others. So you're going to have your blood sugars are going up, so you take a medication for that. So what happens, you never change the problem, which was the inflammation in your body. So if your liver is making 80% of the cholesterol, there's a reason for it. So here's what happens. You eat a hamburger from Burger King, right? That creates inflammation in your body. That inflammation roughs up your arterial walls, okay? Roughs them up. So those red blood cells, as they're rushing by, they want to stick to those that are sticking up. Then those blood cells, they start to aggregate and collect. What is that form? What?
Blockage.
Yeah, clot's not good, right? So your liver, in its wisdom, your body's wisdom, says, we need to fix that. That's a problem. So it mobilizes and says, send out some LDL. We know that as bad cholesterol, right? Send out some LDL. It smooths it down. It's like a salve. Okay? It's smoothing it down so those blood cells don't continue to clot on there. So you eat another Wendy's hamburger or whatever it is. You eat another one. More inflammation. Your body sends out more. So all of a sudden that lumen of that vessel starts getting shorter and shorter and shorter. That's what sets you up for heart disease and a heart attack. Okay? So it's not the heart, it's not the cholesterol, it's that inflammation, which again goes back to diet. Okay, so metabolic syndrome. The average annual cost per patient is over $4,000. This is your direct out-of-pocket expense. This is not your monthly health insurance expense, a little bit different here in the military, but what we see in our office. So $4,000 is what you are going to have. So a diabetic, for example, they spend over $4,000 a year on testing strips, all the supplies that they need along with that, their co-pays, things like that. 4 out of every $10 is spent on prescription drugs for adults. Every $10 spent on prescription drugs for adults is spent on treating a metabolic syndrome. So just some stats for you guys. Okay, New England Journal of Medicine. Today's kids will likely be the first generation to live a shorter life than their parents. And actually, I just read an article that came out that actually said this year they just did a study. This is the first generation of kids that will live a shorter lifespan. So we've been getting older and older. You've been able to have longer and longer lifespans. This generation, they're going to be lower than what we are. It's really sad. So 40% of kids in America are overweight, and today's generation of children will be the first, like I said, to live a shorter life than their parents. I just did a stat. I wanted to see where we are in Florida. 60% of Floridians are overweight or obese. Okay, the Lancet. According to the Lancet, BMI. Have you heard of BMI? Body mass index. Okay, and what that is again is a risk factor analysis. So you should be in that like 20 to 25 is ideal. Okay. For every increment that you go up by 5, you raise that by 5, you lower your life expectancy by 3 years. So what I'm seeing in my office are people of 30 to 35. Okay, that's 8 to 9 years off your life expectancy. Remember when I just had you close your eyes, you talk about where did you want to be when you're 70, 80, 90? How vibrant did you want to be? With a high BMI, you're going to struggle with that. Okay, so it's no secret, America is getting fatter. And again, this is a beautiful slide in color. So envision with me, if you will. So back in the 80s, this is what America looked like. It was light greens and blues. Okay, very few states had a BMI above 15. Okay, so now we're seeing, this is us today, this is actually 2010, 30% are obese. Okay, obese. And this, again, in color, it's all red. And it's worse down here in the southern states. So the number one cause of personal bankruptcy is due to medical bills. So I want to ask you, what happened back in the 80s? Do y'all remember? As a grade schooler. That is true. I could just chuck my cell phone in the garbage half the time and I'd be happy to. Anyone remember learning about the food pyramid?
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the crap that they put on the bottom of that food pyramid?
What was the what?
Grains.
Grains,
Crap they put on the
rice,
bottom of
beans.
the food pyramid. All grains, right? How do we fatten up our cattle for slaughter?
Great.
Grain fed, baby. So if you grain feed all this cattle to fatten them up, what are we doing? So there's a lot of money and some politics involved with that food pyramid, how that came to be. I want you to think about inverting it, okay? More fats, more green vegetables, more fruits, moderate proteins. That's how we should be eating. So we did that, and that's how we treated diabetics. We were having people eating, oh my gosh, for breakfast, a bagel and orange juice. This is what was recommended. And so again, that whole shift started in the 80s, and now we're feeling the effects of it. So it's just a short 20 to 30 years, we have completely changed our culture in America. Okay, so again, Time Magazine, obesity is number one. I've already said it, that 72% of adults are overweight, 40% of children are overweight. We need to be accepting of our bodies. You know, we all want to feel good. But then we need to be very candid and realize where is the problem, and then the next step, how do we help you? So I mentioned it earlier, but most people are really surprised. But 50% of all deaths are from obesity-related chronic diseases. Okay, so diabetes, stroke, heart disease, and cancer. Most people are really shocked by that when they don't attribute cancer to obesity. Okay, so an estimated 1 out of every 3 cancer deaths is linked to excess body weight. That comes directly from the American Cancer Society. And this one got to me. Again, we talked about BMI and those 5-point increments. For every 5-point increase in your BMI, you have an increased 52% risk of esophageal cancer, 24% increase in colon cancer, 59% increase in endometrial and gallbladder cancer, and 12% increase postmenopausal breast cancer. So, like I mentioned, we've created disease at a faster pace than any time. Just in 20 to 30 years, we've seen this huge shift. So the most important thing that we talk about in our office is you are how you look and feel and act right now based on the decisions that you made getting up to this point. Okay, so now we need to take massive corrective action right now for where you want to be in the future. So, solutions. And so this is what my husband mentioned in the very beginning. What are we doing? Again, we have seen such a shift just in our patient base and the patients that are coming into our office. We realized that somebody needed to do something and somebody needed to do something really quickly. So how could we do something in our office which is going to affect our community? Because ladies, if you have children, you're literally setting the table for your family. So what are you doing now to help them? So, going back a little bit, in an EPIC study of 23,000 people, the following truths were uncovered. By participating in these 4 behaviors, okay, not smoking, moderate exercise, a healthy BMI around 20-25, a healthy diet, you can expect to have these outcomes. 93% of type 2 diabetes is prevented, 81% of heart attacks are prevented, 50% of strokes are prevented, 36% of all cancers are prevented. It all goes back to what we're putting in our mouth. There's a great documentary, was it Forks Over Knives? Forks Over Knives? Yeah, it's a really great documentary to watch. Okay, so again, it's not your fault. It all goes back to your metabolism. So is your metabolism working for you? Is your metabolism in a fat burning mode or is it in a fat storing mode? And that's what I learned, again, going back to the fitness competition I did. When I used to go to the gym, I'd always like, oh, I need a little something on my stomach. So I would eat an organic, Stony Field vanilla yogurt and a banana. Because I'm eating healthy, right? So I'd eat that before I went to the gym, like seriously every day. You know what sugar is in one of those little yogurts? It's ridiculous. So that, and then the banana is also sugar. So I was eating it, and so then what was it doing? Stimulating my pancreas to go escort all of that sugar into my, okay? So you only can use so much, about 200 to 300 calories of immediate energy. If you don't utilize that right now, then your body stores it. So again, what you eat and how you eat, the timing of it also becomes an important factor. So again, triggering the fat burning hormones. Okay. So what are we doing in our office to help with this? There are 4 major pieces of the puzzle that we help people with. So things that we're doing different. One, we offer genetic testing. Okay, this is the thing I'm most excited about. So you come in, we do a cheek swab, and we send it off to the lab. We get those results back. So you are not your genetics. Have you heard that? Like, oh, it's just my genetics. Oh, it's my genes. Have you ever heard the phrase epigenetics by chance? Okay. Oh, you're a smart person. Okay. Everyone's smart. Okay, the epigenetics. Imagine like your light switch that's on the wall. Your genes are like that light switch. Light switch, truly. So just because you have a gene, you, through diet and lifestyle modifications, can turn on or off that switch. So what's really fun is now I'm starting to see these results of these genetic tests coming back. Lets us know, how are you made? Do you have more ghrelin in your system, and your body is going to be more prone to hunger pains? Okay. Do you have more fast or slow twitch muscle fibers? Are you meant to, CrossFit's a big thing, right? We all hear about CrossFitters. I will kill myself if I do CrossFit. I've tried it, didn't puke, and I made it out of their life. I was really proud of that. I'm not made for CrossFit. Okay, I have more slow twitch muscle fibers in my body. I'm made to go run. I like to do things over a long extended period of time, and I know that about my body. I feel better when I do that. Other people, they have more fast twitch muscle fibers. They're going to burn more fuel by lifting up heavy things and putting them back down again. That's what the genetic test will tell us. Also lets us know how do you burn fuel. For example, mine came back, higher fats, moderate protein, very low carb. I eat a plate of pasta and I'm done for the day. And I put on 10 pounds of water weight. My body does not like it. But again, scramble some eggs with a little bit of ghee butter, outside of Brussels sprouts, my body is happy, I feel good, I have energy, I'm clean and clear the whole day. Okay, the other thing again is the metabolic booster plan that we have in our office. So it's designed to be anti-inflammatory, okay, and low glycemic. Low glycemic means that it's not going to trigger that pancreas as much. So something interesting, for example, sweet potatoes, fairly low glycemic, but as soon as you cook a potato, it changes the glycemic profile of it. So actually eating like a raw sweet potato, a little bit of hummus, one of my favorite things, you have a lower glycemic index. So the foods that we are telling and advising patients to eat, they're going to be, again, low glycemic. You're not triggering that pancreas to store fat. Okay. A couple other things that we do. So again, this is a snapshot. It's beautiful in color. This is our BCA scan. So when people come into our office, we do a body comp analysis. So you stand on a scale, and it's electromagnetic. It scans your body. So it's looking at your bone density, muscle density, water, and fat. You guys have that?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Much better than just looking at a scale. And so by doing that, it lets us know, okay, how are you doing on the inside? It's also measuring your visceral fat. Visceral fat is really, really important. You have a higher degree of disease with a higher visceral fat rate. Okay, the other thing that we do is we offer support. So when people come into our office and they go through the Lifetime Fat Loss Program, we have them come in every week. We call them success visits. You come in every week, we're checking your BCA, we're checking your food journal, because what we found, and Stanford says it right here, Stanford School of Medicine, people on a specific plan to their genetic profile lost 2.5 times more weight than those that were not on an individual plan. The first 6 weeks, you're also texting us daily. You're letting everyone get a text, right? I would love to check my phone, but I'd much rather you send me a quick test than a long voicemail. Anybody? Just text that. So we text every day. What day of the plan you're on, how are you feeling? That's the most important part. So some nutritional formulas we do. Most people are nutrient deficient when they come in our office. So we put them on a higher dose. So a lot of times it'll look like, that's a lot of fish oil we're going to have you take. But most people are in nutritional deficit. Okay, they've come in, they're fatigued, they're depleted. So we put you on a whole food multivitamin mineral. Also probiotic. Anyone heard of probiotic? Know what they are? Awesome. You guys are awesome. So that is gut health. So I always tell people, trust your gut. Okay, your gut is going to tell you what feels good to you. But that probiotic is really important for digesting your food properly. 80% of your immune system is within your gut. So if you are eating inflammatory foods, you're inflaming your gut, how do you think your immune system is functioning? Right? How many people have food allergies, seasonal allergies? They just don't feel good. You know, Crohn's disease, alternating constipation, diarrhea. You know, we see this a lot in our office. So the probiotic is really important. We also do 3 homeopathic formulas. One is for detox. As you are releasing that fat, remember your body in its wisdom is storing the toxins within the fat. Remember my stinky sweat? That's where your toxins are coming from. It helps mobilize those toxins and gets them out so you don't have a toxin dump effect. That doesn't feel very good. Also weight management. That helps curb your hunger, support your metabolism, and a B12 vitamin again for energy from carrying around all of that. Okay, so the last thing I'll share with you all, go ahead and pass out one of these. You said you already have a BCA scan. I was going to offer to do that in our office for free. But if you already have one here, that's fantastic. But if you would like more information about what we do in our office and how we can help you, I'd be happy to do a free consult. Our information is on the flyer. Be happy to help you out. With that, are there any specific questions that you might have about anything I covered? I know I just scared the bejesus out of you. But it's so important. I want to share it. Yes.
Yeah, a question about the cancer related to obesity. What is the predominant type of cancer that comes because people who are obese?
All of them.
And what causes?
Inflammation. A lot of inflammation is turning on or off those epigenetic genes. So you might be more predisposed, like women with breast cancer, like there's the triple threat breast cancer, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you're going to be more genetically predisposed to breast cancer. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you might have those genes for it. So again, if you know that, then taking those precautionary steps to how can you make sure you're getting lots of grains in your diet and good fats so that you can head that off before it starts.
Just to add to that, colorectal and esophageal cancer are the number 1 and number 2 that are related to dietary. And if you look in the literature and you say what is increasing the most frequently on cancer risk, colorectal is number 1 because we eat crappy foods and there's no fiber going in food, cleans up the tract. And then gastroesophageal, that comes in at number 2.
Because again, what's passing through that tract?
And pancreas is also included in that gastroesophageal. And you get pancreatic cancer, it's got about a 90% death rate within like a year of diagnosis. You're done if you get that.
Any other questions?
Are you familiar with gastroparesis?
Gastroparesis.
I have it. It's a digestion problem.
Okay.
So it's in the FDA in the United States, the FDA took off the market the drug that I can take for it. And since I have multiple sclerosis, there's other drugs I can't take because of the MS. So I'm struggling with the gastroparesis, but it's indigestion is certain foods I can eat on the side, certain foods I eat that hurt me, certain foods I can't eat because they're hard to digest. So I'm limited on what I can eat, and a lot of times I'm comfort food because I have to eat. And dieting is hard because there's, like today, this morning, I only helped that quick. It's nice lady took me to lunch, my stomach feels better. I had a hard time.
Friend. I'd be happy to talk with you. If you wanted to call, Erin will answer the phone. You're more than welcome to come in. Like I said, it's a free consult when we get it. I'd be happy to look at what's going on with you and what I think I could recommend. There's a lot of different things with that. We have other people that it has. Again, most people coming in, they're really sick. I'm happy. I have like a 3-month quick program for people who are just looking to lose maybe 10, 15, like a refresher. My passion is those women over 40 who need to lose 60, 80, 100 pounds. So with that, I'm seeing polypharmacy. I'm seeing a lot of disease processes, and I'm happy to help.
I'm going to add that. The gastroparesis, it's a motility issue.
Yes, it is.
So what happens is the muscle in your stomach, there's different types of smooth muscle in your
Right.
stomach, and there's something called root. Okay, so it's like an open, undulating pouch of muscle. And that muscle has to squeeze and open and squeeze and open, and it forces the food down from the top of the stomach into your small intestine. As you go along, it's being emulsified, and chemicals are in there, breaking everything down. So when it gets in your intestine can accept those nutrients. If they're not broken down by the time you get in your intestine,
Sits there.
it sits there, it causes inflammatory issues, you get severe gas, you get bloating. That's what called leaky gut syndrome is causing that. It's actually in the intestines, not the stomach. That gastroparesis will be affected by foods that are harder to swallow or digest. Also, if you don't chew enough and you put that bolus of food down in your stomach, the gastroparesis gets worse.
That's what I was thinking, how juicing could
Yeah.
possibly help.
So what we typically do when I see patients like that, or actually you're seeing them all now, I don't really see these patients anymore, is juicing is huge because it's hypernutrition, low calorie, or just even blending, because blending doesn't get rid of the fiber. Because you need that fiber. The more that fiber is in there, the more it delivers and pushes things through your gastrointestinal tract, and the easier you can absorb nutrients. It's really important to get that stuff.
I'll be happy to help you. Any other questions?
You know if the treatment here in your office is covered by TRICARE?
No chiropractic or anything off base is covered by TRICARE, unfortunately. So there's a lot of red tape. We get more politics with that. And then we've been working, chiropractic helps through the VA, but not currently for active duty or dependents. And so everyone who comes in our office, we do have a medical discount plan for a discount for, we see a lot of military families in our office. So, but like I was saying, what our plan costs, if you're looking at diabetes and it's $4,000, my program's a lot less than that. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.